boys despise daddy's girls. Not that type of daddy's girl. That type of daddy's girl. Girls whose dads teach them about financial portfolios or how to navigate tough career choices. You know, the dads that fly in to negotiate the terms of their new Lexus. I've been jealous of daddy's girls for 2 reasons. 1, they seem weak. And 2, my dad abandoned me. Twice. The first time didn't hurt as much, probably because I was 6 months old. But the second time, that was a doozy. Around the age of 5, a man named Charlie left my mom and I in a huff. Because I had only recently gained consciousness, I had wrongly assumed that the dude living with us was my father. I cried the day he left because he said he was going to take our only TV. And my mom turned and said, "Don't cry. He's not even your real dad." Oh, okay, great. One more question. Who is? After badgering Nikki for years, she showed me a picture of my real dad. He was tan, handsome, and on a sailboat. Not him, but you get the idea. Nikki told me he was very intelligent. Nikki Mom, that's what she liked to be called. Loved chess, and I would probably never meet him. I figured this was because he lived on the sailboat. In my childlike mind, he was traveling the world looking for his long-lost daughter. "No need for a sailboat," I would whisper. "I'm in Dallas, Texas." Around the age of 10, I asked if we could hire a private investigator to find my dad. From what I saw on TV, we had a lot of options. There was Jim Rockford, there was Columbo, there was Kodak, or my favorite, Tom Selleck. Hell, if we could get Magnum PI up in this joint, I wouldn't even need to find my real dad. Nikki said, "We can't hire a private investigator to find your father because I'm worried they will find your half-sister first."
No.
If that sounds confusing to you, imagine being 10. So it turns out Nikki gave up a child when she was in college, and she was afraid that anyone looking into her past would find that out. And from then on, bringing up my father was equivalent to wanting to destroy my mother. So that crazy response worked for a long time, right up until I was 16. By that point, I was in desperate need of a new parenting approach. Nikki gave me my first joint when I was 11. Plus, Nikki treated me like a best friend, a 27-year younger best friend. So she would constantly tell me about the men she dated. Ramsey likes to eat out, if you know what I mean. No, I'm 12. You know how teens rebel against their parents? Well, considering Nikki drank, smoked pot, slept around, this was the only way I thought to rebel. I would become preppy. Having a mom that's 300 pounds, drives a rusted Buick LeSabre, and refers to all my friends as her bestie, pretending to be from the right side of the tracks is a very tall order. If I had a dad, he would buy me that Junie and Berg bucket bag instead of the sports sack, $15. He would serve me hot chocolate for my cold instead of giving me Vicodin. He would help me with my homework instead of hanging this sign on my door. Too smart to study and too cute to care. I took that literally, by the way. No one at school believed my charade, and my shame at being me grew immeasurably. If only I had a father, I wouldn't be less than or different from my fellows. He would help me be normal. That's the frame of mind I was in when I was 16, and Nikki decided to tell me the truth. She sat me down and said, "I caught your father giving another man a blowjob when he was high, and I kicked him out of the house, and I haven't seen him since." She told me this on the same week that my band teacher died of pneumonia. The same week that me and every other 10th grader had made fun of Lynn Hunt because she was butch. The same week that Rock Hudson died of something called HIV. In that day and age, having a fucked up mom was way more normal than having a butt-fucking dad. I decided I'd never need to hear about my father again. Then I was 20 and I met Zach. Zach was tan, beautiful, with his signature hair flip. Zach was also gayer than a $3 bill that sucked a lot of cock. One night out with Zach, I decided I would out myself and tell him for the first time I had a gay father. You would have thought I told him I was changing my nail polish from his reaction. Oh, having a gay dad may not be awful. It might be the most fabulous thing in the world. So I went home and I called the gay dad capital of the world, San Francisco. Yes, operator, I'm ready to find my long-lost gay father. Can you patch me through to Mr. Pfister's and ask for Tom? Oh, okay, let's try zippers. The tight end? Even though we had no luck, I was back on my journey of finding my father. Only this time, Tom looked a little different in my dreams. He was my answer again. Once I find him, all my feelings of less than will disappear. Once I receive that first hug from my biological father, all my pain in this world will be subsided. It will be minuscule. Despite my understanding of men thus far, that they always leave, I managed to fall in love with the most amazing man in the world. I was in a healthy relationship, and this surprised no one in the world more than me and Nikki. He was so loving that he offered to help me find my dad. Yes, even after I turned 29 and was truly happily married and about to have my own child and creating my own loving family, part of me couldn't stop imagining how much fuller my life would be if only I had that last piece of the puzzle. I wanted my son to have a grandfather. I wanted my husband to talk shop with my dad and discuss family vacations. I wanted to know the best place to get kimchi in the Castro. We searched for years, yielding no results. Then LinkedIn came along. Finally, LinkedIn found a match for someone. Dear Tom, were you ever married to Nikki? It was a Tuesday. Big life events aren't supposed to happen on Tuesday. I resumed work, giving little thought to the email I'd sent. How many times had I reached out to a man with the same name? I had no sensation of hope in my body as I looked up to see a reply. Yes, Misty, it's me. I remember my chair being pushed back into the credenza. Did I roll myself back, or did the shock of that response just propel me back 3 feet? He tells me I'm named after a Moody Blues song. He tells me it's fitting I'm in California. The song says I'll live by the sea. He tells me he lives in Iowa and has been married to Carol for 37 years. He has 2 boys, my half-brothers. He says he can't remember my middle name. You might call this red flag number 1. He suggests he call me that Sunday. He forgets to call. Another red flag. We finally connect the next Sunday. He doesn't explain why he left in detail. He only offers up that they couldn't get along. I didn't hold a resentment toward him. I didn't search all these years only to say, why weren't you there for me? I was grateful I'd found him before it was too late. Now everything was going to be magical. Now I was going to be a daddy's girl. I would no longer be less than. I had 2 parents that loved. I had 1 new parent that was going to love me. He came to visit after 2 years of infrequent phone calls. I begged him to visit. He said he didn't want to rush our meeting or force anything. I didn't care about the Moscow-sized red flags that waved in the air before his arrival. I only knew I'd waited all my life, and now I was going to be a whole human being. I had my husband shoot video of our first hug. He was definitely no longer the man on the sailboat. He looked like a dad. A baseball cap, paunchy stomach, socks pulled up to the knees dad. I looked into his eyes for the first time, and I felt nothing. It was so mundane. It was so matter of fact. Any emotion that was there seemed completely contrived on my part. There was no there. It didn't feel like I thought it would. We offered to drive him to Malibu. He talked about his life and long walks with his dog. I think he forgot to ask questions about me, so I volunteered a lot of information. We pointed out homes and the beauty of the ocean. He said he was disgusted by the obnoxious display of wealth. A few blocks later, though, he pointed out an Audi A7 and said it was the same color as his back home. We went to a seafood joint overlooking the Pacific Ocean. There was a breeze and the ever-present Southern California sunshine all around. After lunch, he said he wanted to walk to the ocean. We crossed the street with him walking 100 yards in front of me. I struggled to keep up with his pace. My husband sat on the rocks and put his head in his hands. He had seen all the warning signs. He knew that hopeful look on my face would soon be crestfallen. He knew what I could not yet see, that this man didn't care about me. My father had no interest in getting to know me. He was not looking to be a father or grandfather. He wanted to have his experience in California and was slightly annoyed that I was a part of it. He ventured out towards the water, letting the whitewash run over his feet. I stopped and waited to see if he would invite me in his private moment. I looked to my right, and as if a lifetime director had just yelled action, I saw a dad playfully swinging his 8-year-old daughter by the arms. Bitch. I realized my fantasy of what it would feel like to be a father would never be realized. As much as I wanted to grow up with a dad, it was too late. I was already grown up. When I got married, I walked myself down the aisle. The person that gives you away should be someone who has been helpful in your upbringing. That was me. That guy wasn't around. Nikki was more detrimental than helpful. I was my biggest advocate. I turned to the ocean and saw Dad indicate he was ready to leave. I asked for a picture and he posed, thinking I meant it just him. My husband jumped up from the rocks and suggested I stand next to him. That was almost 3 years ago. I haven't heard from him since that day. He found a way to abandon me twice. I don't regret the journey. Not for all the money in the world. I didn't have to find him.